everybody, it is Quicken and welcome back to Tattoo Talk Tuesday. So if it is your very first time joining us on the Quicken channel, Tattoo Talk Tuesday is our weekly interactive talk show where I take user-submitted questions and try to lend my experience to you guys as a tattoo collector. So I've had countless submissions over the years to talk about tattooing and self-care, tattooing and body positivity, and I think even recently tattooing and body positivity has been a subject on this channel, whether it be, negative effects of being tattooed in the public eye, or, I think we talk about that a lot. But I have never kind of touched this idea about tattooing and self-care. And I opened it up to you guys on Twitter, and honestly, the feedback is remarkable. I had to have another cup of coffee after this, and honestly, I can't thank you guys enough for being so chill and so interactive with one another on Twitter. It's been really cool. So on Twitter I said, tattoos for self-care or self-depreciation, how do you feel? And I wanted to talk to you guys about this today because this summer, even yesterday, I've gotten 2 tattoos that are both for self-care and both for self-encouragement. And, I've been getting tattooed for 10 years, but these are both the very first 2 tattoos that I've gotten for myself in order to enhance my self-worth. And I've never done that before. I'll be the first person to tell you that I love my tattooed skin and I love living in a tattooed body, and that these tattoos that I have help me love myself. But I've never been tattooed with a message to love myself, and it's a brand new thing. And I wanted to talk about it today because I have in the past gotten tattooed in a negative mindset, and I've had tattoos where I do feel like I am self-depreciated, or if I am devaluing myself and punishing myself and putting myself in this tattooed body. And it's hard because it's not a constant thing, it's something that comes in waves. And as somebody, who does go to a dark place sometimes, sometimes you punish your body in order to satiate some sort of feeling. And today I am not going to be talking about tattoos and self-harm. And I quickly want to say, because I don't have the authority to. A few months ago, I got this ask on Tumblr kind of late night that was hey, my therapist told me that my tattoos are a socially acceptable form of self-harm. What do you think? And, my response was, damn, are people on the subway looking at me damn, is this girl alright with all these self-harm tattoos? And, I didn't really know how to answer, but my friend Kate, you know her, she's always an amazing contributor to the conversation on Tattoo Talk Tuesday and in general. She replied to the feed, and her response was invaluable. She said, hey, your therapist knows you best, so what applies to you in your, therapy session is unique to you and not something that is, a general thing. So maybe in this instance, your therapist who knows you can say your tattoos may be a symptom of self-harm, but it doesn't go across the board. And that's where I want to leave that, just because I'm not a therapist and I cannot comment on that because I don't know better, but the discussion is open to you guys. So I do want to stray from the idea that tattoos represent self-harm, and I want to counter it and talk about my own experience with my tattoos being for self-love and self-care. So for the longest time, I wanted to get tattoos that were beautiful, that would adorn my body and make my body a beautiful place. And I wanted to explore that idea because if you're getting tattoos to do that, then you're countering an idea that your body is not a place you want to be in. And I think throughout the feed on Twitter, it is a really common thing. Like, a lot of people are saying, you know, my tattoos help me love my body. I couldn't wear short sleeves until I started getting tattooed. I didn't feel comfortable showing my legs until I had tattoos. And all of these, I think, that's a sensation of tattoos helped me love myself, and tattoos are for self-care. So, a few weeks ago or months ago, a few weeks ago, I posted this live stream where I kind of told you guys everything that was kind of happening in my life. And if you've noticed infrequencies in my postings, if you've noticed oddities in my postings, it is because this has been a rather hard summer for me. And getting back in touch with loving myself was really hard, but I knew it was a mission that I wanted to accomplish. And not to say it's easy, not to say a tattoo will fix it, but there was one night in particular where I was like, hey, you know, I haven't had to love my body for a really long time because I had another person in my life who loved it for me. So once that was gone and that person was gone, I was kind of left with this body. And, you know, the self-depreciating thoughts came out. I was like, oh no, like, I got a lot of these tattoos while I was in a relationship, and now I have to meet someone brand new who might be like, what the fuck is this mess? What are all these? And these thoughts, you know, they were haunting me, and it was really difficult for me to get past them. And I thought, like, what did I do? What have I done? So, looking in the mirror, you know, as a naked tattooed body, I was like, what can I do? Because I haven't had to love myself. Somebody else loved me, and they were like, nice, I like all that. Good job. So I kept thinking of this idea of like showing yourself tenderness and loving yourself and being nice to yourself. And I went to a walk-in shop and I got this tattoo, my Tender tattoo. And a lot of people were like, are you going to talk about it? And I thought, you know, this was a tattoo I got with a mission, and this was a tattoo to remind myself that I could love myself and that I didn't need someone else to love my body for me. And honestly, I don't usually get tattooed with that mindset. I normally get tattooed like, let me adorn this blank body and let me put adornments on this body so I can love it. So, getting this Tender tattoo, I got it in a very like private place, so only I can see it, or someone else might see it. Whew. It was something for me that, you know, going, Ethan's hand is like just right here. So I got it because even like leaving my house to go get it, I was so excited. And then getting the tattoo and getting the placement right, all of it felt so fluid. And then I got home and I got to take care of it. And it wasn't like one of these big production tattoos where I go all the way to New York to get it and I think about it and I heal it and I take pictures of it and I'm like, damn, it's healed. Like, this was so personal and intimate to me. And it was something that, like, for the very first time had a message for myself. And I think that that's such a good feeling. I see a lot of people who will get little messages to themselves, and I thought this would be something to remind me that things are going to be okay, and to reintroduce myself to that thought of loving myself all over again. I think that tattoos can be a reminder for that. You know, I'm not the first person to explore that thought. I'm not the first person to tell you guys that. Ethan is such a lovey baby. I guess, like, in my previous relationship, I don't want to say I let myself go, but there was just so many things that I didn't care about because I didn't have to, because I was secure in my relationship. And once it was all me all over again, I was so scared. And now I have a little reminder that it's okay and to be nice to myself and not worry about, I don't know, some hairy armpits or some cellulite or anything. Just everything will be chill. And I like that. So yesterday I went to New York and I got tattooed. I got my shirt on. So I went to New York, and going to New York and going to Rose Tattoo is such a positive ritual for me. And I haven't been there in almost a year. And I really, really, really decided to get a Quicken tattoo. And I never was going to get a Quicken tattoo, and the idea behind that is I've never been okay with being proud of myself. And I've never been okay with, like, I don't know, talking about Quicken and talking about how much I truly love and am proud of my Tumblr. And that's because if I told someone that, they would punch me in the face. You're proud of your Tumblr, idiot. And I felt really comfortable hiding behind that, being like, people definitely think that this is weird. And their opinions matter more than my own. But this channel has been something that is something I'm proud of and something I think that I might be good at. And it's so, so hard for me to take a compliment. And it's so, so hard for me to accept gifts. It's so, so hard to, like, recognize things I'm good at. I'm, like, not that, I'm bad at that too. And I'm somebody, and people tell me this all the time, and you might relate. I'm somebody who says sorry all the time. Opening a door for somebody, sorry, how you doing, sorry. Oh, I'll get that for you, I'm sorry. All the time. It's the only thing I say. And apologizing constantly, you'll always run into people who are like, what? You don't have to apologize. Stop saying sorry all the time. Cheer up. And it's like this weird conflicting thing where I'm like, oh, I need to apologize, and oh, I'm sorry for saying sorry all the time. But you guys have really held me together in this idea of Quicken and this idea of being like a quiet, cool kid. You know, people will reach out to me and say, like, can I get a Quicken tattoo because I relate to the message. And I'm kind of here, like, reading messages from you guys and you guys saying, like, I relate, I'm a quiet, cool kid. Are you ever going to make Quicken shirts? I really want to wear one. And I thought, like, who am I? You know, why do I feel so separate from the message? Because I'm embarrassed and that I self-depreciate myself constantly, like, whenever I can. I'm so stoked to be the first one who's like, well, I'm not that cool, or like, it's not that good, or it's alright, I guess. Or like, oh, the dress looks cute, or like, it fit you better. Like, who? It's all the time. Help me. So with that, I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to celebrate whatever this is. And if people think it's corny, if people think it's whatever, if people are like, the internet doesn't exist. You ever get that one? You ever get somebody who says something mean about you on the internet and then you confront them in real life and they were like, well, that was on the internet. You ever get that? I got it at an art show a few years ago and I'll never forget the guy. I'll never forget the guy. So I told myself, like, my humility is like constant. So I went to New York to see all my friends. I spent the day with Akira and I just did like everything I love. And I got a Q tattoo. And I told myself, you know, it's gonna be a really long time before I stop putting myself down. And I don't even know where to begin. But I thought this would be a tattoo where if it's so hard for me to say I'm proud of myself, at least this tattoo will speak for me when I can't. And it's hard dealing with like a really powerful message because if you haven't guessed, I have no idea how to deal with my feelings, not really well. But getting tattoos that are about me and that deliver a positive message that reinforces things that I don't naturally reinforce. Like, I'm not going to be the first one to love my body. I'm not going to be the first one to love myself. But getting tattoos that have a message that forces me to reaffirm myself, it's been really cool. And like I said, getting my back tattoo was something I needed to feel complete. but it's not a message that reminds me to love myself. It's kind of a message that's like, yeah, you did this, bitch. But I don't know, having these concrete tattoos, it's been really cool, and I'd love for you guys to share your own stories, because, I mean, honestly, a lot of you guys have shared stories with me where you're like, even with last week's Tattoo Talk Tuesday, about people approaching you and you don't feel comfortable explaining your tattoos. Now I'm sitting next to you like, oh no, if a gust of wind blew up and someone asked me about my tender tattoo, it would be really hard for me to be like, I got dumped. Like, that would be crazy. But when it's me and it's intimate, it feels really good. So I want to pass that on to you guys, and I want to, you know, share some of your stories too. And in the comments, you know, you guys are always really, really great about it. And it's hard because there have been times where I've been so sad and gotten a tattoo. Like, I have this tattoo that says love kills slow, and I got it after a breakup because I felt like shit. And that message, you know, you never kind of forget that. Like, I think it's a cool tattoo. I think it should be redone. Like, Mark, what are we doing this winter? But you get tattoos sometimes when you're sad. And sometimes they have these heavy negative messages like, love kills slow, are you alright? But then you get these other tattoos that aren't inspired by hate. And that's really cool. But some of us do get tattoos inspired by hate too. It's really crazy to me that I can have tattoos that come from all these different places. So I wanted to share that with you guys today and kind of touch on things that have been, I guess, requested to be talked about, but, you know, I wasn't an authority on them until now. So thank you guys so much. Give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And if it's your first time here, you could subscribe. I make videos like this every single Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for following along with New York yesterday. Thank you everyone at Rose Tattoo. I love you guys so much. Anyway, check out the Twitter feed. I will leave the link for that in the in the description down below. And bye.